Welcome back to Insecurity. We are still in San Francisco for RSA. Today's special guest, Malcolm Harkins, the Chief Security and Trust Officer at Cymatic. Post that you have held at some really interesting companies in the past of various sizes, which probably bodes pretty well for Cymatic.
It's exciting times. It's I'm one of those folks that I don't cling to a mistake just because I spent a lot of time making it. And we've spent a lot of time making mistakes in this industry. First mistakes was antivirus and IDS and all that stuff, and that's why Cylance was born, right? To reinvent, reimagine, and create the art of the possible to prevent the execution of malicious code. The Cymatic founders, again, looked at the whole web application security and defense marketplace and said, again, architecturally it's fundamentally flawed. It got bulk, it's got burden, it's complex, it doesn't do what it needs to do. And they set about to reinvent and reimagine it. And I'm excited about it because we can deploy with one line of code in under an hour, operationalize it, and then sub 2 seconds when any device with any operating system, with any browser lands on a web app or web service, we basically own that session and we can stop account takeovers, in-session hijacking, behavioral biometrics, IP intelligence, geofencing. And there's no cookies, there's no agents. It's invisible to the user experience. And when the device or user walks away from the website or web app, we dissolve. So you've just eliminated all the data privacy issues with cookie laws and all that type of stuff. So getting to my 9 box of controls that we've talked about a lot, I can lower the risk, I can lower total cost, and I'm invisible so there's no friction.
Now you are someone, self-described, I did not make this term up, with a lot of angst and always with an axe to grind. It's RSA. You had to bring a few axes with you this week. What did you sharpen up for this week?
I sharpened up on a couple things. You've heard me talk a lot in the past about leadership, and I think that there's a lack of leadership in the industry and a lack of leadership in many ways in the CISO and Chief Security Officer community. And for me, it's a continuation of the same thing. You walk around the floor, there's so much motion. A leader can distinguish motion from progress. And we really got to make progress, and we've got to be accountable for it. And on Monday I was giving a talk in the career and professional development area, and it was all around the labor shortage. And people were talking about we're short of millions, and the retention and attraction and talent and stuff like that. And I'm like, I've never had a labor shortage. I always have more people want to work and apply for jobs that I have. And you go, why is that?
Not the job you have, the jobs available.
Yeah, they might not want to do the job I have. But yeah, the jobs I have available. And I go, why is that? And it's because I think I create a culture where people can believe in the mission, believe in the management, believe in themselves. They feel like they belong because I frankly give a shit about them. And I try and create a work environment that what they do, when they do it, and who they do it for matters. And and I always have a lot of loyalty. Somebody had asked me a question, it's like, well, why are people so loyal to you? And I'm like, loyalty is a consequence of leadership. And I just set about to be who I am, do what I say, mean what I do, and it works for me.
Imagine people want to hang around and stay with you and follow you in those things. This week we had the really good fortune to speak with a teacher from Purdue and one of her students who actually had to take the midterm here as part of her getting to go to RSA. But we did talk to them a little bit about that as well, about the labor shortage. How much of that is hype? And how much of that can we look towards improvements in our process, our technology, just people being smarter and faster, better equipped? And maybe some of that is hype, but some of those jobs aren't going to go away because we don't fill them, but we don't need that to be 3 separate jobs necessarily.
Yeah, well, I think the labor shortage is a real issue, but you look at the cause and effect. If we did a better job of managing and mitigating risk, we would have less labor shortage in that whole reactive state, right? Which is where the vast majority of the roles are open. And so again, it gets back to if you're managing and mitigating risk right, you won't have that problem. Last week or 2 weeks ago, a friend had posted something on LinkedIn. So the role of a CISO is like riding a bike. Other than your bike's on fire, your hair's on fire, and all this stuff. And I looked at it and I'm like, okay, this just pisses me off. And I'm like, that is not the role of a CISO.
It would have been okay.
And I'm like, look, if you're in that state, you're not doing your damn job. That means you're not managing and mitigating risk. It means you're only reacting to it. And I said, and the only person who probably made that mug was the security company whose product doesn't work, who sold it to a CISO, who's now running around chaotically in a frenetic thing, never able to catch their breath. And they just marketed it that that's the way in which it's supposed to be. I'm like, get your head out of your ass. That's not your job.
Well, the bike's on fire because that CISO bought a bike that could catch fire.
Yeah, and if you look, actually, you could go do this. You could go look at the LinkedIn post. You can see a little bit of diffused in the background who that vendor was.
Interesting. You are someone who has never had issue with speaking truth to power or to the entirety of an industry. So speak the truth. People looking for you. You are. Oh, wait. There's things happening with the book.
Yes, I'm going to be starting to work on the 3rd edition of my book, Managing Risk and Information Security, and I'm excited about it. When I met with the publisher this week, I don't really track the numbers that much. Again, royalties on stuff like that don't make a whole lot of money, a couple $100 here or there. But in the first 2 editions, and the first one came out 7 years ago, I've had 350,000 book sales and downloads. And so I'm excited about working on the 3rd edition and expanding some concepts and actually adding a few new chapters.
I'm seeing Adam Driver playing you maybe in the Netflix series that comes out. We'll figure that out. But you're up to a lot of stuff, whether you're at shows like this, speaking, doing different things. If people are looking for you, where can they go?
They can find me on Twitter at Protect to Enable or hit me up on LinkedIn, Malcolm Harkins.
Another one of these folks, if you hit them up, he will answer you and he will point you in the direction to help solve whatever it is you're looking to get help with. As for us, we try to help too. You can find it all at threatvector.cylance.com. We're also at BlackBerry and at Cylance Inc. I am Matt Stevenson. Look for me at PacMatt73. I found Malcolm. I think my work here might be done.